Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Wednesday. It is I, Dr. Neva from our Global Business podcast, where I go live on YouTube. So if you want to join me, where we can have live interactive sessions, conversation, where you could talk or ask questions during our time, you could definitely message me and I'll send you the Zoom link. So, guys, we had a great guest set up today, but unfortunately, circumstances happen and the show must go on. I am not going to reschedule. I promised myself, as a business owner, right, that I am, that I will continue no matter what. So, I'm here today to speak with you guys, all right? I'm going to wait a little second to see if you know who will join us, and I will continue with the conversation in one, two, three. All right, so let's go. So today I want to just reflect. By the way, let's back up for a second in case you don't know me. Again, Dr. Neva Alexander. I am a global leadership strategist of Nevalliance. I also have Nevalliance Foundation, which is a nonprofit arm of my business. It is pretty much where I do woman empowerment. I do three phenomenal events. I'm known for the International Women's Conference that we do annually at Hofstra. Also, the Wealth Summit and our retreat. Our retreat was rescheduled. We're going to do it in May 2026, and we are going to Jamaica. So, again, you could reach out and follow up, get some more information on that. But today I want to talk to you, a little bit about when leadership miss the mark. And I'm going to tell you a story of what happened. This is years ago. I would say pretty much almost 15 years ago. I was a chair of the department at a university. I'm not going to say the name of the university. However, we had, great experiences, but there were challenges in a leadership position that I held. I was a chair of the humanities and social science department, and there was always shortage of professors. Basically, the university, was based off an American system, so they had professors that they had to get from international places and from whether United States, Canada, Australia, wherever. So it's always, the process and time, getting people on board. It's just, a lot of different logistics that were involved. And but one of the greatest issues that I found once the professor was there, they wanted where the professor had to teach up to 20 hours. Now, guys, if you, again, I'm giving a story off in the educational system, but this also happened across the board in the different positions that you might think of. They wanted 20 hours. So if in the educational system, that's a lot of hours on a university level to teach, to prep for each class, to meet the students. It was crazy. So they wanted 20 hours. If in the United States, three classes, 9 hours, 12 hours, that's the norm. They wanted the teachers to be teaching five, six, and at times seven classes. So as the chair, I will push back. I will try to constantly tell them, no, this is not going to work. A matter of fact, it is hurting the teachers. It's killing their morale. They're not understanding it. They're busy now. You brought them to the country. Now they're looking at, okay, what is my exit plan? Because this is insane. But the university is looking at, we're just trying to make most of our you are resources, and those are the professors. And guys, no matter what, the amount of meetings that we had and me trying to let them know this is not going to work. I mean, they were not buying it at all, at all. So I remember a teacher just coming into my office, like breaking down in tears and, you know, looking at me for answers like, why am I doing this? And I'm like, it's not me. I have leaders I have to respond to. I have, the dean. And there are teachers that would just get up and leave, just fly, just pack their bags, and they were gone because, this was just too much to take, right? And then they look at it as, oh, these people don't want to do their work. A matter of fact, step it up. They had, again, now you have them teaching between 5 to 7 classes, and then you wanted them to have up to 35 students in a class. Now, imagine if you do the math, if you had at least 6 classes, at least times 35 students in each class, and and they had a set curriculum, right? So they want you to basically, it felt like a factory, to be honest, where you're just pumping out these assignments, like 6 different assignments. Now you are basically hurting quality. And, so here's some tips I want to give leaders. And hopefully, this video come across to the right individual that need to hear some of these stuff that I want to share, right? That I am sharing. The first thing the leadership lessons that I want to share is capacity is strategy. So when you're in a leadership position, you must assess and honor the human capacity, of your team and parts of the strategy, not just as another afterthought. So when companies or institutions overload their staff, they think, oh, they're solving a resource problem. But in truth, you're creating retention. People are going to leave. They look at you as a paycheck. They're just trying to pay the bills. They took this job. Now it's a paycheck. What's the next plan for me to get out? Morale. It kills their morale because they're wondering for example, I'm a professor. Why are you doing this to me? Right? And I forgot to even mention too, they had professors teaching classes that they were not qualified to teach. They had a PE teacher, gym teacher, teaching Arabic studies because she spoke Arabic, but she wasn't passionate about it. She cared more about health. But you said, well, you could speak Arabic. We need coverage, and you have to do that. I mean, guys, come on. You also create quality crisis. So great leaders is not about extracting the most. It's about maximizing impact within reason. So strategy must account for the bandwidth of the people who carry it out. So guys, they're putting pressure. I'm getting pressure as a chair on both sides because the teachers are looking at me, or the professors, because they're professors. So I might use the word teachers and professors interchangeably, but really professors, they're qualified professors. And then I'm having pressure on the dean to make sure, because they're looking at, if you're a leader, they're supposed to do as you say. Guys, these professors can basically fly out and tell you, keep your job. Number 2, short-term fix creates long-term fractures. So quick solutions often lead to deep cracks in team culture and performance, right? You're just looking at the quick fix. Let me just fix this little problem, but you're not really looking at what will happen in the long run. Are these students really learning? Are they really performing? Are you just preparing them to push them out just for the money? And people look at it that way. So hiring and also the hiring delays. I know, the other side would look like, okay, it's not our fault, it's a system. We have to wait till we're able to get visas for these individuals. But there were also cracks with HR because they were at times slow, right? Slow to process things. Again, because they were also short staffed. So hiring delays were blamed, but the real breakdown was how leadership respond to them. Overworking existing staff may have, filled the gap, but at the expense, the energy, the creativity, and consistency. Leaders must ask, what is the short-term fix costing me long term? Some of us, I like to call it the patchwork. There's a plumbing issue, and just visualize the plumbing issue. You just, get a little putty and you fix that little burst in the pipe versus replacing the pipe and doing the work properly. And three, leadership without listening is a liability. You got to listen to your people, guys. I mean, again, I'm using one example of a university, but this could use company-wide through all organization and even just with small business owners, right? Because I tend to work with those a little bit more these days, but you gotta listen. Listening is a liability. If you are not listening to the people doing the work, you're not leading, you're managing a mess, right? So, as a chair, I saw the warning signs, I saw the burnout of faculty. Oh man, faculty, I remember exam days. They will cancel the exams, they will just give grades. They did not care. A whole bunch of people, you saw the grade report, all these people, A's and B's, and if they're just really bad, C's, they did not care. It was a problem. And at the end, I mean, trust when I say I fought, I was like standing the gap. Let the teachers, number one, at least teach subjects that they are able to teach, right? That's one. Whenever I would stop the class at 30, I would turn back around and registrar would just add students because they say I did not reach 35. Isn't that crazy? And again, this is a private university. So I saw the warning sign, guys, and the decline students' engagement. The students just take it as, oh, let me get a grade. Let me get a grade. Because you also, the mass production of, okay, this is the curriculum. They must complete these papers. They must complete these assignments. And students is like, okay, we'll do it. So they start copying each other. And then the professors really didn't have time to grade 200 to 300 students' papers. They just gave grades because they also had to meet a deadline. I found myself as a chair saying, okay, you can't complete. I found some other professors who may have wrapped up things a little sooner to help other professors because it was so much overload and quality was sometimes, a lot of times, sacrificed. So I saw the signs, and, you know, there were unspoken resentment growing. Um, just teachers. I remember one basically, she saw it's me because I wouldn't fight enough, but others saw that I was fighting. A matter of fact, that's why I had to step back at one point because they were tired of, they weren't the leaders above me. I am a leader, but the leaders above me refused to see what I was seeing because they were looking at times I felt it was the dollar sign, right? So the resentment, but the top down leadership failed to ask one question. How is this affecting our people? Our people, the staff, the professors, administrative workers, our students. Leaders who don't listen risk losing both people and purpose. So I know in leadership positions, sometimes it's just, yeah, you got to produce, you got to keep going, you got to move. But I really want to say to you guys, if you're in a leadership role, look at the steps that I shared. How can you improve? How could you not make people feel burnt out? How could you not make people just quit, right? And walk off the job? So that experience shaped who I am today. I believe in strategic leadership rooted in empathy, listening, and sustainability, guys. So whether you're a leader, you're of a business, or you're in a classroom or a movement, remember this: the success of your vision depends on the strength of those carrying it out. Guys, I did not have as I said to you, our guest today decided that it was this conflict in their schedule and they weren't able to be here. But again, I wanted to be here because I, as a leader, said I'll be dedicated to be here every Wednesday at noon. If you're in a leadership position, you want to come on the podcast, feel free to reach out. Nevalliance is the name of the company. If you look at nevalliance.com, you can definitely reach out to me. The program is Global Business, and learn more on the offerings. Again, Nevalliance, Global Leadership Strategist. That's who I am. Until next time, really, really appreciate you. Bye-bye.